right under my very roof, right under my very nose. My own daughter, and this stranger.
Stranger? I've known Billy all my life.
Well, he's no better than a stranger to me.
But Mrs. Franklin,
In my own front parlor, too. No shame, no nothing.
But, Ma, we were only kissing.
Only kissing? Only kissing, she says. Well, you're her father. What are you going to do about it?
I thought it was kind of sweet.
Sweet!
Now, Maggie.
His own flesh and blood cavorting with a sculpin spalpeen.
Mrs. Franklin, I want to marry Cora.
And he thinks it's... Mary?
Maggie.
Out. Out. You wet-eared young whelp, feeding off of me and corrupting my daughter.
Mrs. Franklin?
Mother, we're in love.
Love. You don't know the meaning of the word at your age. Back to that filthy hole in the ground you call your mine, you grimy-handed gopher.
Now, wait a minute, Maggie. Mrs. Franklin, honest.
Get! And if you ever so much as poke your head inside this house again, so help me, I'll flatten it.
But...
Get! Dirt grubber. Thought he could come in here and sweet-talk you away, did he? So you could wash and skull-drag for him the rest of your life, did he? Not my daughter. Never.
Oh, Pa, what am I gonna do?
Oh, don't worry, honey. Everything will be all right.
But Billy and I were gonna get married this week. Oh, can't you do anything with her?
Cora, I've been married to your mom for over 22 years, and I had to learn when to keep my mouth shut. There ain't nobody can out-argue your ma when her dander's up. No, sir. She's a holy terror.
Death Valley Days.
Howdy, folks. I'm the old ranger. In the year 1890, in the Black Hills of South Dakota, a rancher named Franklin became a gold miner and put the town of Keystone on the map. But 4 years later, he was broke again. So his wife, Maggie, turned their home into a boarding house. When their daughter wanted to marry another miner, Maggie exploded. It was no wonder. They called her the Holy Terror.
After 6 and that girl still lazing round in the bed. Cora! 8 boarders in the house and they all want their eggs sunny side up. I can't do it alone. Why do you always have to get under my feet at breakfast time?
Sorry, honey.
This ain't no time of day to be at the kitchen table.
But if I don't figure out some way to pay old Henry Pardee, there isn't going to be any kitchen table, and not much else either.
That conniving old leech been pestering us again for his money.
Honey, you can't call a man a conniving leech for threatening to foreclose for money that I've owed him as long as I have. I'm just trying to figure out a way to stall him off.
He's a conniving old leech. We've already paid him enough in interest to keep him fixed for life. Cora! That girl. Been moping ever since I run that young good-for-nothing dirt grubber out of the house. Cora! What's the matter? Are you deaf? She did it, Frank. She did it.
Did what?
Run off with that good-for-nothing dirt grubber. Sneaked out of her own home like a thief in the night. After all we done for that girl, our own flesh and blood deceiving us.
Now, Maggie, don't get yourself all head up. They're young and they're in love, and Billy's a nice boy.
He's a dirt grubber. That's what he is. A rainbow-chasing dirt grubber.
Like me, Maggie? Is that what you're trying to say?
What does Cora know about love? She's just a child.
It seems to me that when I married you, you were just her age or maybe a few months younger.
That was different. I was a woman at that age.
So's Cora.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. She'll never set her foot inside of this house again as long as I live.
Now, Maggie, you don't mean that.
I'll show you what I mean.
Now, Maggie, easy with that Bible. What are you going to do?
Striking her name from the flyleaf, that's what.
Maggie.
From this day forward, there is no such person in this family as Cora Franklin. And if you ever dare so much as invite her back, I'll strike your name from the good book, too. Do you understand?
Well, morning, Miss Franklin.
Morning, Leif.
How's the family?
You know how the family is. You know darn well what's happened, Leif Weber.
I didn't mean your daughter.
I have no daughter, Mr. Weber.
Mother? It's me. Ma, please. Hello, Pa.
Hello, Cora. I'm sorry I had to meet you on the sly like this, but if I was to meet you in the open at your house, why some busybody go running to your ma.
How is Ma?
Oh, she's fine. She misses you. She wouldn't admit it, but I know she does.
Can you stay a little while, Pa? It's been so long since we talked.
Sure. Well, no use standing here like a couple of trees. Let's go on up the hill and sit down. Yeah? Marriage sure agrees with you.
Well, who wouldn't be happy married to a man like Billy?
Your ma wouldn't, for one.
Oh, do you think she'll ever forgive me, Pa?
Maybe in time. But you don't dare push her. It'd just make matters worse.
Was she always that way?
Always. Always ranting and raging and blowing off steam, but I don't know what to do without her.
You love her, that's why.
You know, Cora, your ma's a good woman. It's just that things bear down on her more than other folks. Her and her Irish temper. She sure is a holy terror.
Oh, I love her too, Pa, in spite of everything.
Sure you do.
Well, I've got to be getting home. Fix supper for Billy. You know, Pa, I wish you could come by for supper sometime. I said I wish you could come. What's the matter, Pa?
Where'd you get that?
I don't know. I guess I just picked it up.
I must have knocked it off without noticing.
What is it?
Gold. That's what it is. Gold.
Is there a vein?
Is there a vein right at the grass roots? See them stringers sticking out of that ore just like wires?
I don't think we were sitting on it all the time.
I gotta go get a notice board and stake this claim. Then I gotta hightail it to the county seat.
Tonight?
Why, don't dare wait till tomorrow. Things like this have a way of leaking out. Why, somebody might be watching us right now.
Oh, I don't think so. It's pretty deserted up here.
Oh, I can't wait to register this claim. I'll tell you what. You go home and make like nothing happened. Tell your mother I'll be back sometime tomorrow.
Me tell her?
Oh, yeah, I forgot. I'm so excited.
You'll have to.
Well, I can't. I haven't got time. Besides, she'd ask a lot of questions, and the way she blows off, half the town will know it in no time. Oh, I'll just have to go without telling her.
She'll be awful mad.
Not when I tell her we gotta go, mind. Say, you know something, Cora? We got your mother to thank for this strike. If she hadn't turned against you, made it necessary for us to meet on the sly, why, we'd have never taken this walk this afternoon.
That's right. We owe it to her.
Yeah, bless her black Irish heart. You know what? I'm gonna name this mine after her. And what's more, I'm gonna make her an equal partner. Come on.
Where are you going to be taking him, Frank?
None of your business.
Well, excuse me.
They be gone all night.
Well, I'd better get a blanket for old Jim. He catches cold if you look at him sideways.
I still think you ought to tell Ma you're going.
Got no time, Cora. I gotta record this claim.
Well, here you go. You'll have to get your own blanket.
Goodbye, Cora.
Good luck.
Come on, Jim. Hey!
Oh,
Lay! Hey, Lay! Come here, take a look at that wheel.
oh. Well, the axle's bent. Take less time to hitch up another rig. I'll be right back.
Hurry up. See you, Lay.
Well, the darn fool, he forgot the blanket.
Was that Franklin hurrying out of here in that rig?
Yeah.
Well, he may be able to avoid me, but he won't avoid a foreclosure.
Closure.
Say, what you got there?
Oh, nothing.
What are you hiding it for? Let me see it. Where'd you find this?
In a buggy. Funny place to strike gold, ain't it?
This is no time for jokes. This is rich ore. Where'd it come from?
Franklin must have dropped it.
Franklin.
Yeah, he came in here and hired a rig. Had to switch for another one, kind of a loose wheel. Fit to be tied, he was.
Where was he heading?
He said he'd be back tomorrow.
Hey, you take care of my horse.
Where on earth can that man be? Well, if he thinks he can spend the whole night in town, he's got another think coming.
Oh, evening, Miss Franklin.
You ain't by any chance seen anything of Mr. Franklin, have you, Leif?
No, I haven't, Miss Franklin. Not since he rented one of my buggies and drove off late this afternoon.
Rented a buggy? Why? What for?
I don't rightly know. He seemed mighty persnickety about talking about it. Now, it was about 5 o'clock when he and Miss Cora came over here.
Cora? He was with that girl. Where'd they go? Now you talk up, Leif.
Oh, now, don't hog-tie me into this, Miss Franklin. I just can't take the family squabbles.
Well, we'll see about this.
Mrs. Franklin.
Mother. Oh, Ma.
I ain't your ma. Where is he?
Who?
Her pa.
Hasn't been here.
She knows. She was with him this afternoon. Yes, you'd best look guilty, miss.
Now listen, Ma.
Where is he now?
Well, he's all right now. Don't worry. He'll be back tomorrow.
Tomorrow? Well, if he's out gambling or soaking up liquor with some of those no-good cronies of his...
Oh, no, Ma. Honest, he ain't even in town.
Ain't in town? Where is he?
I wouldn't know.
He had business.
You're both of you lying to me. Well, I'll tell you one thing. Something's happened to him. You're just trying to keep it from me. I'll comb the town till I find out for myself.
No, Ma, please. He wants it kept a secret.
A secret? Another woman. He wouldn't dare.
Pa made a strike and went to Rapid City to record it.
A fine strike it must have been. He didn't even bother to tell his own wife about it.
He's naming it for you. That's how much he cares.
Likely.
And he's making the deed half in your name.
I don't believe it.
Ma, honest.
You're a fine one to talk about honest. I was a fool ever to come here in the first place.
Oh, Ma, please.
Evening, Mr. Franklin.
Mr. Pardee?
I'm waiting to see your husband.
Well, Frank's out of town. He ain't home. And if you come again about the loan,
That's exactly why I'm here.
well, you'll have to come back sometime tomorrow.
I'm afraid tomorrow's too late. I've given him fair warning. Tonight's the absolute deadline.
How do you mean?
I've been very generous with your husband, Mrs. Franklin. I've given him extension after extension. I can't go any further. I'm going to have to foreclose.
Now, see here, Mr. Pardee.
I have been very patient.
But it isn't like it's just our home. It's how I make our living. You've got to trust him a little longer.
Wouldn't do any good. Where are you suddenly going to get this kind of money?
Well,
You know I'm right.
Oh, no, you're not. Frank's made a strike. Just this afternoon.
Sure. Big strike. Real convenient, isn't it?
He's gone to record it.
Did he tell you this?
Yes. No. Well, I didn't see him myself, but he told someone else.
And you believed him?
Frank wouldn't lie.
Did he tell this other party where he made this rich strike?
I didn't say it was a rich strike. I just said he found something. And I do know he's naming it after me, deeding half of the mine in my name.
Half of nothing is nothing.
Frank's a good man, Mr. Pardee. You gotta trust him a little longer.
Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. It's against my better judgment, but I just never could resist a woman in distress. You deed over your half of this here so-called mine, and I'll cancel the debt. In toto, the whole thing.
Half of the mine?
Well, I'm a gambling man, Mrs. Franklin. I don't like to dun people. Besides, I trusted your husband this far. I guess I could trust him a little further.
The mineral property located by William B. Franklin, June 27th, 1894, known as the Maggie Franklin.
Maybe just the Maggie. Or the Maggie F.
Well, just to be on the safe side, I'll put down all three. The Maggie, or the Maggie F, or the Maggie Franklin. Yeah, now if you'll just sign here.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pardee. I'll never forget this.
Good night, Miss Franklin.
Good night. We own it, Frank. Free and clear. Now we don't have to worry.
Maggie! 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 Maggie!
Why in the world didn't you tell me you were gone out of town?
Now, don't you light into me while I explain.
I know. You've been to Rapid City.
Who told you?
Mrs. William Stoney
Cora? You made up.
did no such thing.
Well, you've got it, because now is a time for rejoicing. Listen, I got news for you, you old biddy. Look at this. It's the assay report on a new mine. And we're rich, Maggie. Maybe even millionaires. There's a trip to Europe in every ton. This report makes the ore of the Keystone Mine look like a dime's worth of dog meat, and it's all ours. What's the matter?
It ain't all ours.
What are you talking about? I called it after you. Put half in your name.
I sold my half to Henry Pardee.
What?
Well, he came in here last night wanting his money, threatening to take our house. So I agreed to trade the mortgage for my half of the mine.
You gave away half our fortune for a measly $1,000 loan?
Oh, don't look at me like that.
Don't tell me how to look.
Well, I thought I was doing the right thing.
Thought you were doing the right thing. Maggie, you got a big mouth, a great big mouth.
You can't talk to me like that.
Sit down.
Now you see here.
I said sit down. And keep quiet. I gotta think. Was there anything in writing?
Well,
Just answer the question.
Yes.
We ain't got a prayer.
The Lord's punishing me, that's what. It's a judgment on me for treating Cora like I have. But he shouldn't be punishing you, too.
Maggie, I should have told you I was going.
Oh, Frank, they're living in such a poor little place. Do you think she'll come back, her and Billy? They could have the big front room.
Think of this then.
Well, Frank, I heard you were back.
You hear things fast.
Well, I keep my ears to the ground. Speaking about the ground,
Why, you conniving leech, coming here and bullying my wife into signing a paper.
now, Mrs. Franklin isn't exactly the kind of woman one bullies. I made her a sporting proposition, and she gratefully accepted.
I ought to punch your head in.
It's no way to talk to your partner. After all, I am your partner for what it's worth. How much is it worth?
Tell him to come in, Frank. No use letting all the neighbors hear.
There is no use trying to welch on our transaction, Mrs. Franklin. I've got it all here in writing.
Does that paper mention the location of the mine?
It isn't necessary as long as it specifies the name, and that is quite clear.
Exchange of the property we got. Pardee, that paper isn't worth a thing.
Eh?
Because there isn't any mine known as the Maggie F, or the Maggie Franklin.
You told me he named it after you.
I did. But I didn't name it the Maggie, or the Maggie F, or the Maggie Franklin. I named it the Holy Terror.
Frank! Morning. Oh. Let's go tell Cora.
Right.
Wait, I want to put her name back in the book.
Later.
Oh, but I want to do it now.
I said later.
Yes, dear.
Here is a copy of a mineral entry in the files of the General Land Office in Washington, D.C., who sent it to me. The Holy Terror, located June 28, 1894, by William B. Franklin at 9:45 at the office of the Register of Deeds at Rapid City, South Dakota.